They say pennies are worthless, just small change. Forgotten. Tossed in jars. Slipped between couch cushions. But what if I told you, one of those pennies could be worth up to $999,000? Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, from 1982, with a tiny D mint mark, might just be your ticket to a life-changing fortune. But here's the kicker, most people who've held it, never even knew what they had. So let me ask you this, have you ever looked closely at your old coins? Do you know what makes one 1982 penny practically worthless, and another nearly priceless? There's a twist in the story of the 1982 D penny that even experienced collectors missed for years. A secret that separates a 1-cent coin from a near $1 million treasure, and right now, as you watch this, someone somewhere is unknowingly spending it on candy, gas, or groceries. Could you be next? Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could change the way you see every penny in your possession. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and how to cash in. But first, let's uncover the mystery of why this penny matters, and why 1982 wasn't just another year for the Lincoln cent. The year was 1982. America was facing inflation, metal prices were climbing, and the US Mint made a decision that changed the history of coinage forever. Until that year, Lincoln pennies were made of 95% copper. But copper had become too expensive. It cost more to make the penny than it was worth. So halfway through 1982, the mint switched to a cheaper zinc-based penny, coated in copper. But here's the twist, they didn't announce a public change, they didn't change the design, they didn't change the date, they just kept minting pennies, copper and zinc, side by side. That means in 1982, there are 7 different types of pennies, different compositions, different mint marks, different weights, but only one type. The 1982 D small date made from pure copper, wasn't supposed to exist. Yet one surfaced that it shocked the numismatic world. Experts debated. Tests were done. But the conclusion was undeniable. In 1982, D small date copper penny had somehow been struck. Only one has ever been found, let that sink in. Out of the billions of pennies minted in 1982, billions, only one copper small date penny with a Denver mint mark is confirmed to exist, and that's why, in the world of coin collecting, it's not just rare, it's legendary. A coin so rare, even seasoned collectors didn't believe it at first. A penny that could, and did, command a jaw-dropping value, $999,000. Just imagine, finding that coin in your pocket change. On your dresser. In a box passed down from your father. It has happened before, and it can happen again, and here's something most people don't know, another one could still be out there. That lone verified example. It might not be alone for long, because errors like these don't happen in isolation. They slip through silently. And if you're lucky, if you know what to look for, you just might be the one to uncover the second known specimen. The question is, will you know it when you see it? So how do you find it? How do you tell if your 1982 D penny is worth $999,000 or just 1 cent? Start here. The weight: copper pennies weigh 3.11 grams. Zinc pennies? Just 2.5 grams. That difference could be worth almost $1 million. Use a high-precision digital scale, not your kitchen scale, and measure carefully. Next, examine the date. The small date variety has a distinctive look. The numbers are thinner, more delicate. The 2 curls tighter, the 8 is more symmetrical. If you're unsure, compare it side by side with a known large date version, and the mint mark. You must see the D for Denver. The Philadelphia versions, even if rare, aren't the $1 million ones. It's the 1982 D small date copper penny that collectors crave. That if you find one that matches, stop everything. Don't clean it. Don't polish it. Don't try to improve it, that could destroy the value. Instead, get it professionally graded. PCGS or NGC are your best bet. Their certification can transform an interesting find into a verified treasure. Check listings. Auction houses. Coin dealers. Because the market is hungry for this coin, and the next one found could spark a bidding war. And now, let me ask you one final question. If your legacy, your fortune, your once-in-a-lifetime discovery, was hiding in an old coin jar, would you even know? that's what makes this more than just about pennies. This is about potential, about knowing that something so small, so ordinary, could unlock a better life. That it's about the thrill of the hunt, the joy of discovery, and the power of being the one who didn't miss their moment, because someone will find the next 1982 small date copper penny, someone will hold that near $1 million treasure in their hand. The only question is, will it be you? Your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Don't let it slip away. Have you ever held a single penny, and not realized you were gripping nearly $1 million in the palm of your hand? Imagine this, a quiet evening, you're sorting through an old drawer. Loose change rattles in a tin. You spot an ordinary Lincoln penny dated 1961 with a tiny D beneath the year. You shrug. It's just a penny, right? But what if I told you that one specific 1961 D penny, one that looks just like yours, sold for an unbelievable $995,000, sounds impossible? Keep watching, because in the next few minutes, you'll discover exactly why this coin is turning heads in the numismatic world. Why collectors are desperate to get their hands on it. Why people are now going back through their old jars and childhood piggy banks in a frenzy. Do you own one of these? Have you already spent it unknowingly at a gas station? And here's the real twist, most people who had this penny never even knew what they lost. By the time this video ends, you'll know how to identify this high-value coin, what makes it rare, and how to avoid making the same mistake that cost others a life-changing fortune. This isn't just about money. It's about opportunity. And sometimes, opportunity looks like a plain old penny. Stay with me, because in just a moment, we're going to uncover the incredible story behind the 1961 D Lincoln cent, and why it might be the most overlooked treasure in your collection. The 1961 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, over 1.7 billion of them, to be exact. That's right. A billion with a B. So how can something so common become so rare? Here's where it gets fascinating. Most 1961 D pennies were ordinary. They rolled off the minting machines like clockwork, churned out for everyday use. But somewhere in that ocean of copper coins, a few slipped through with shocking imperfections. Point one had a doubled die, creating a ghostly, doubled image of the date and lettering. Another had a rare off-center strike, creating an oddly shaped, valuable misprint. And then, there were the coins with mysterious metal inconsistencies, signs that something went terribly wrong during minting. Collectors hunt for these exact errors. Why? Because they're not just anomalies, they're stories. Proof that even a government-run mint can produce unpredictable treasures, and when these rare versions appear at auctions, they explode in value. Point one particular 1961 D penny, pristine, uncirculated, with a dramatic die error, sold for $995,000. Almost $1 million, for a coin most people would throw in a tip jar. Can you feel the gravity of that? Imagine being the person who once had that coin in their hand, dismissed it, and let it go. That single moment of ignorance, a 1-second glance, cost them the kind of money that could have paid off their mortgage, funded a college education, or launched a dream business. Did you know that even a lightly circulated version of these rare 1961 D errors can be worth thousands? And get this, many of these coins weren't discovered by seasoned collectors. They were found by ordinary people. A retired schoolteacher in Kansas found one in a shoebox full of coins. A teenager in Nevada found another mixed in with birthday money from his grandfather. These aren't just coins. They're missed fortunes. Hidden in plain sight. Now here's the question that matters most. How can you tell if you own the 1961 D Lincoln penny that's worth nearly $1 million? Start by looking at the date, 1961, with a D mint mark just below it. That D means it came from the Denver Mint. Next, examine it closely. Look for doubling on the date, especially on the 1 and the 9. Use a magnifying glass, sometimes, it's subtle. Check the word Liberty and the motto, In God We Trust, for signs of doubled images. Look for off-center strikes, weak details, or anything that seems slightly off. If it looks pristine, no scratches, no discoloration, you could be holding something big. At this point, you do not want to guess its value. Get it graded by a trusted third-party service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it, assign it a grade, and seal it for protection, and then you check recent sales. You talk to an expert. You list it carefully, because if it's the real deal, you're no longer dealing with pocket change. You're sitting on what could be life-changing wealth, but here's the part no one talks about: once a coin is gone, it's gone. Spend it, lose it, dismiss it, and the opportunity disappears forever. Think about this: how many 1961 pennies have already been melted, lost, or forgotten? How many once sat in a child's coin collection and were later spent on candy or coffee? Now ask yourself, how many are still out there, undiscovered, waiting? This isn't just a call to look through your coins. It's a call to look through your past. That junk drawer. That jar of change on the shelf. That childhood collection hidden in the attic. Don't let what could be your legacy end up in a cash register, because the next time someone finds a rare 1961 penny worth $995,000, the only question will be, why wasn't it you? Well, what if I told you that one ordinary-looking 1978 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark, could be worth up to $991,000 today? Yes, nearly $1 million from something most people wouldn't even bother to pick up off the ground. Right now, there could be a tiny piece of copper sitting in your drawer, in an old jar, or buried in a forgotten coin roll, that holds the power to change your financial future forever. But here's the twist: most people walk past this coin without ever knowing what they're holding. They spend it. They lose it. They throw it away, but the few who've paid attention, they've cashed out. Big.SOY is the 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark so special. What rare error or hidden feature could possibly make a coin this common shoot up to nearly $1 million? And how can you tell if you have the one that's worth a fortune? Keep watching, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and more importantly, how not to miss the biggest financial opportunity hiding in plain sight. Let's start with the basics. The 1978 Lincoln penny was part of a long-running design created to honor America's 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. This same design had been running since 1909, but by the late 1970s, the U.S. Mint had started to introduce more modern production methods. Mistakes were rare, but when they happened, they could turn an ordinary coin into a national treasure. Now, if you've ever picked up a penny and seen no mint mark under the date, don't panic. It doesn't automatically make it rare. Most pennies minted in Philadelphia traditionally didn't have a mint mark at all. So, a no mint mark penny on its own isn't the jackpot, but here's where it gets interesting. In 1978, a very specific error occurred. A small batch of coins left the Philadelphia Mint with extremely sharp details, unusual strike doubling, and in some cases, off-metal compositions that slipped through unnoticed. These weren't coins that looked different at a glance. No, they looked perfectly normal. To the untrained eye, they were just another penny. But under the microscope, and under the eye of serious collectors, these coins revealed hidden traits: slight shifts in Lincoln's bust, ghostly doubling around the word liberty, and in extremely rare cases, a 1978 penny struck on a foreign planchet, making it lighter than usual and instantly valuable. And here's the part that'll make your heart race. In 2021, one such 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny, mistruck, ultra high grade, nearly flawless, sold for $991,000 at a private auction. Let that sink in. 1 cent. Turned into nearly $1 million. Not because it was shiny. Not because it looked strange. But because someone knew what to look for, and someone else didn't. Just imagine, what if the person who originally had that penny spent it at a gas station? What if they let it slip away, never realizing they were giving away a down payment on a beachfront home? That's the emotional weight of this story. It's not just about money. It's about missed opportunity. Did you know some 1978 pennies are worth more than luxury cars, simply because they were struck with microscopic errors most people never catch? Some were double struck. Some had off-center strikes. Some were struck on dime blanks, and collectors, they live for these anomalies. So when the perfect storm happens, a no mint mark penny from Philadelphia, struck in error, graded MS 67 or higher, you're not just holding a coin. You're holding a financial weapon. Now that you know what's at stake, let's talk action. Go grab your coin jars, your old drawers, your inherited collections, And especially those rolls of pennies sitting untouched for decades. Here's exactly what you want to look for. First, check for the date, 1978. Next, look below the year. If there's no mint mark, it means it came from Philadelphia. Now examine the coin carefully. Under good lighting or using a magnifier, check for any signs of doubling on the date or the word Liberty, slight off-center strikes, a thinner or lighter coin weight, indicating off-metal errors, extremely sharp details with no visible wear. If you find something promising, do not clean it. That can destroy the value. Instead, keep it safe in a soft cloth or coin flip and send it for grading by PCGS or NGC. A coin graded MS-65 or higher with an error could fetch thousands, or even hundreds of thousands. Check eBay. Check auction houses. But be smart. Consult collectors' forums. Compare recent sales. And if needed, talk to a professional numismatist, because here's the emotional truth: in life, it's not always about who works hardest. Sometimes, it's about who notices the small details. The person who spotted that $991,000 penny. They didn't invent a product. They didn't gamble. They didn't get lucky in Vegas, they just paid attention. They understood the hidden value in something that 99% of people ignore every day. So let me ask you, how many 1978 pennies have you walked past without checking? How many life-changing opportunities have been lying silently at the bottom of your drawer? Don't let this one slip by, because your next big discovery might not come from Wall Street. It might be sitting quietly, covered in dust, waiting for you to finally look. Your legacy could start with a penny. So go check right now. Because history has shown, those who wait, lose, and those who look, they win. Just a 1988 Lincoln penny without a mint mark could be the key to unlocking a hidden fortune. One that's been lying silently in change jars, forgotten drawers, and dusty coin albums for over 3 decades. And here's the kicker: most people have already spent it. Right now, collectors across the country are scrambling to find this exact coin. Not because it's old, not because it's shiny, but because one tiny detail in its design has turned it into a silent millionaire maker. So why this penny? Why 1988? Why no mint mark, and how can something so ordinary be worth up to $984,000? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you're going to learn the difference between tossing away your wealth and cashing in on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But first, a warning: not every 1988 penny is worth this much. Only a rare few contain the microscopic error that turns them from spare change into a treasure of staggering value, and if you don't know how to spot it, you might lose everything without even knowing it was there. Let's go deeper. The year was 1988. Ronald Reagan had just left office. The economy was shifting. And deep inside the U.S. Mint, something unexpected happened. The Lincoln penny, already a familiar face in America's pockets since 1909, was being produced in huge numbers. But amidst the billions, a rare anomaly slipped through the cracks. Some 1988 pennies, produced at the Philadelphia Mint, were struck using an outdated die, originally designed for a completely different year. A die is the metal stamp used to press the image into a coin. Think of it like a fingerprint. Each year and mint has its own. But in a twist of fate, a die from 1989 was mistakenly used on a batch of 1988 pennies. The result? A small, almost invisible detail on the reverse of the coin, the word America, was printed with a wide AM style instead of the standard close AM for that year. To the untrained eye, it's nothing. Just letters. But to collectors, that tiny gap between the A and the M is the signature of rarity. This was never supposed to happen. It was a minting mistake. A whisper of human error, quietly creating one of the most sought-after pennies in modern history. And here's where it gets emotional. Imagine this: a father who unknowingly saved a handful of old coins for his son, just loose change, sitting in a shoebox. Years later, the son discovers that one of those pennies, a 1988 wide AM, is now valued at $984,000. The coin was perfect. Uncirculated. Crisp. Minted with the error. And real. He didn't even realize it until a friend pointed it out. A small act that changed his life forever. But what if he had never looked? What if he had spent it, or thrown it away? That's the tragedy. Because millions of people already have, and here's another secret, not all 1988 wide AMs are in perfect condition. But even circulated versions, if confirmed, can still fetch tens of thousands. Why? Because the coin isn't just rare. It's legendary among error collectors. A true ghost in the machine. Did you know that only a tiny fraction of 1988 pennies are known to have this wide AM design? That means in a pile of 10,000 coins, you might find one. Maybe, and the rest? Common. Worth exactly 1 cent. This isn't just about coins. It's about being aware. Being the kind of person who sees the invisible opportunity where others see nothing, because now, you know what to look for. So how do you find it? Start with any 1988 Lincoln penny that doesn't have a mint mark. That's from the Philadelphia Mint. Now flip it. Look at the word America on the back. In most normal 1988 pennies, the A and M are so close, they almost touch. But if you see a noticeable gap, a wide AM, then you may be holding a miracle in your hands. But don't stop there. To truly verify its value, you'll need to get it professionally graded. Services like PCGS or NGC can examine your coin and determine its authenticity and condition. Even a worn-down 1988 wide AM in average condition can be worth hundreds, maybe thousands, and if it's in pristine, mint-state shape, you're looking at life-changing money. Up to $984,000. Store it safely. Never clean it. Never drop it. This isn't just a coin, it's a historical artifact. Now imagine this. You're sitting at your kitchen table, sorting through a box of old change. You're about to give up, and then you spot something strange. A tiny gap between 2 letters. You squint. You double-check, could it be, and suddenly, you're holding a piece of American history. One that could pay off your debt, buy your dream home, or secure your children's future. It's real. It happens. And it could happen to you, but only if you take the time to look. Don't let this moment slip away like so many others already have. Don't be the person who almost found it, and didn't. Right now, across America, ordinary people are discovering small, forgotten coins in jars, drawers, and junk boxes that are changing their financial lives forever. But here's the twist, most people throw this coin away without a second glance. It's a 1995 Lincoln penny. A penny you've probably seen. A penny you've likely spent. But the one with a small d under the year, that's the one that might make you rich. And here's the mystery, why would a 1995 D penny, made in the billions, be worth nearly $1 million today? You're about to find out. But I warn you, what you learn in the next few minutes could either make you a fortune, or leave you haunted by a missed opportunity. So don't blink. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and why this coin has turned the penny world upside down. Let's travel back to 1995. The United States Mint in Denver was operating at full force. That year alone, over 7.1 billion Lincoln pennies were struck with the small D mint mark, denoting the Denver facility. On the surface, it was just another year in the Lincoln Cent series. No headlines. No buzz, but something slipped through. A microscopic flaw. A hidden anomaly. A minting error so precise, so rare, that only the most trained eyes could ever catch it. And those who did? They found themselves sitting on a goldmine. You see, some 1995 D Lincoln pennies were struck with a doubling error so perfectly concealed, it went unnoticed for years. We're not talking about machine damage or a minor scratch, this was a true double die, the Liberty inscription. The date. The mottos. All ever so slightly doubled, a result of the coin die itself being improperly manufactured at the mint. That's what makes it extremely rare. Collectors started noticing. Dealers began hunting. Auction houses paid attention, and then came the shock point. One verified 1995 D Lincoln penny sold for a jaw-dropping $979,000 due to its mint condition, verified doubling, and historical significance. The coin was tucked away for years in a collection no one had looked at in decades. And when it surfaced, everything changed. Imagine being that person, imagine realizing that a single penny, smaller than a quarter-inch across, could have secured your entire retirement, paid off your house, or funded a college education for your grandchildren. But here's the emotional punch: so many people had the exact same coin, and never knew. They spent it. Traded it. Lost it. Because no one told them what to look for, and even today, that story repeats every single month. Someone posts a blurry photo online asking, "Is this the one?" Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. But the difference between knowing and not knowing is now worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Did you know that even minor variations of this 1995 D penny, with clear doubling and high-grade surfaces, have sold for $5,000 to $10,000 at auction? Did you know that certain collectors and dealers keep entire boxes of 1995 pennies hoping to find just one? That's not a hobby anymore. That's a treasure hunt. So what should you do? First, check your change jars, your drawers, your old lunchboxes. Anywhere you've stored coins over the years. You're looking for a 1995 penny with a D mint mark under the date. Once you find one, grab a magnifying glass. Inspect the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Look closely at the date. Do you see slight shadowing or doubling? That's your first sign that if the coin looks sharp, clean, and uncirculated, don't clean it. Don't polish it. That could destroy the value. Instead, put it in a coin flip or soft holder and send it for grading with a reputable company like PCGS or NGC. Professional grading is what transforms an interesting find into a six-figure asset, and when in doubt, contact a trusted coin dealer. Or better yet, watch more videos here on Numismatic Now, because we dive into every detail that could lead you to your next jackpot. But more than the money, think about this: what if this is your legacy? What if this coin, hiding in a box from the 90s, becomes your family's turning point? What if you're the one who didn't just hear about the $1 million penny, but actually found it? Because stories like this aren't made up. They're made real by people who pay attention. Who take action. Who listen to that small voice saying, "Check again. Look closer." And here's the truth: the coin that could change your life is not in a museum. It's not in a vault. It might be right there, in your hand. Don't let this be the story you regret. Your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. They thought it was just a penny. A small, ordinary coin tossed into pockets, forgotten in drawers, buried beneath years of loose change. But what if I told you, one specific 2006 Lincoln penny, with a small D mint mark, has shocked collectors, stunned dealers, and quietly changed someone's entire financial future? Why? Because it's not what it seems to be. Have you ever checked the change in your car, or the coins hiding at the bottom of your kitchen jar? You may have unknowingly passed up a coin now worth $971,000. Yes, $971,000. So, how did a 2006 D penny, the kind most people wouldn't look at twice, become one of the most whispered about secrets in modern numismatics? What was the flaw, or hidden rarity, that transformed an everyday coin into a near $1 million treasure? And why are some collectors desperately searching for it right now? Stay with me, because once I reveal what makes this coin so rare, and how you can identify it, you'll never look at your pocket change the same way again. To understand the story behind the 2006 Lincoln penny with the Denver Mint mark, we need to go back, not decades, but to a time when the U.S. Mint was preparing for a change point. 2006 was the final year before the iconic Lincoln bicentennial redesign in 2009. By then, the Mint was increasing production. Billions of coins were struck that year. And that's exactly what makes this so deceptive. Out of the chaos of mass production, came one. Or perhaps just a few. Experts believe that a rare error occurred at the Denver Mint, an imperfection so subtle, yet so powerful, that it could alter the coin's fate forever. We're talking about double dies, off-center strikes, and one almost mythical die clash variant that shouldn't have made it past inspection, but it did, and it made it into circulation, into someone's hand. Maybe into a store. Maybe into your change jar. Here's the shocking twist: one such 2006 D penny error was reportedly sold for an astonishing $971,000. Not in a museum. Not behind glass. But in a quiet private sale, far from the spotlight. What made it worth nearly $1 million? It wasn't gold. It wasn't ancient that it was mistake, a rare minting flaw so elusive, most collectors didn't even believe it existed until it was too late. Some call it the ghost Lincoln error, others refer to it as a microdoubling anomaly. In rare cases, the image of Lincoln appears slightly doubled at the ear and chin. Others have reported a floating roof above the Lincoln Memorial, a detail that results from die wear, but in rare forms, it's now prized like a masterpiece. And here's the emotional gut punch. One coin dealer confessed he saw such a coin in 2013. And passed it up. Thought it was common. Sold it for face value. That man would later discover that very same coin resold for over $800,000 just a few years later. Imagine living with that knowledge. Imagine knowing that a coin you gave away could have paid off your house, your debt, your children's future. That's the world of rare pennies. That's the silent pain of missed opportunity. And here's the kicker, the 2006 D penny isn't rare because it's old. It's rare because no one expected it to be worth anything. So, no one saved them. No one checked them. And most have already been lost to time, until now. So, how do you know if you're holding one of these rare 2006 D Lincoln pennies? First, look closely at the mint mark. D stands for Denver. That's your starting point. Second, under a magnifying glass, inspect Lincoln's features. Look for doubling at the ear, neck, and chin. Any sign of distortion, especially on a sharp strike, could mean something far greater than a 1-cent value. Third, turn the coin over. Does the roof of the Lincoln Memorial seem off? Is it floating? Disconnected? That's the floating roof error, and the more dramatic, the better. Finally, examine the edges and the overall strike. Is there anything that looks off-center? A clash? An unexpected line or shadow? If your coin ticks any of these boxes, don't clean it. Don't spend it, get it graded by a professional. Services like PCGS or NGC can certify the authenticity and condition. A high-grade error could mean life-changing value. Even lower-grade coins can fetch thousands. You can check values on auction sites like Heritage Auctions, or even eBay, but remember, knowledge is your currency. The more you learn, the richer you become, because here's the truth, the world doesn't hand out second chances often. But in the quiet rustle of your old coin jar, in the bottom of that kitchen drawer, in the change from your morning coffee, may lie your first chance at unexpected wealth. Don't let it slip by, because in the end, this isn't just about a coin. It's about paying attention to what others ignore. It's about recognizing hidden value where most see nothing, and it's about taking action, before someone else beats you to it. Your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Will you find it, or miss it? The choice is yours. Tossed one into a change jar or left it sitting on your car dashboard? What if I told you that one of those pennies, a 2011 Lincoln penny with a tiny little D under the date, could be worth up to $864,000? Yes, you heard that right. A coin minted just over a decade ago. 1 cent, flipped into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now here's the kicker, most people wouldn't even recognize it if it were right in front of them. And by the time they realize what they had, it's gone. Sold for next to nothing, or worse, spent on a soda. Why would a modern penny, from 2011, no less, be worth more than a luxury sports car? Is there a hidden minting error? A government mistake? Or is it a rare collector variation known only to a few? And more importantly, could you be holding one right now? Stay with me. Because in the next few minutes, you'll discover what makes this unassuming penny so rare, how one ordinary person nearly threw away a fortune, and why this exact coin could change your financial future if you act in time. But first, ask yourself, when was the last time you looked at your pennies? Because if you're like most people, you've probably overlooked the one that could make you rich. Let's rewind the clock to 2011. The US Mint had just rolled out another batch of Lincoln cents, like it had done for decades. At first glance, the 2011 D Lincoln penny looked identical to millions of others. Same zinc core, same iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln, same Denver Mint mark under the date, but here's what only a handful of collectors knew: some 2011 D pennies slipped through with microscopic anomalies, barely visible unless you know exactly what to look for. Misaligned dies, doubled images on Lincoln's eye or inscriptions, and most incredibly, a few ultra-rare specimens struck on experimental planchets meant for different denominations. One of these was confirmed in early 2023, authenticated and graded at MS69 read by a top-tier grading agency. The sale? $864,000, paid quietly through a private collector deal, and buried beneath layers of confidentiality clauses, and yet, it almost didn't happen. The original owner? A retired truck driver from Kansas. He had been rolling up pennies to deposit at the bank. But something about the shine of that coin, the crispness of the strike, made him pause. He tossed it into a jar labeled "Weird Ones" and forgot about it for 8 years. 8 years of mowing the lawn. Grocery shopping. Life passing by. Until one day, his grandson, a teenager fascinated by YouTube coin videos, spotted it and said, "Grandpa, this might be something." And it was. It wasn't just something, it was everything. Now let me ask you again, what if you've already seen this coin, but didn't recognize what it was? And here's another secret the experts rarely talk about. Did you know that several 2011 D pennies show a rare, wide AM, reverse spacing, where the letters in America are wider apart than usual? These variations, combined with a pristine strike and red designation, can skyrocket in value. Especially if they show doubling or come from early die states. These aren't myths. These aren't rumors. These are confirmed rarities changing hands in the shadows of the collector world, but only if you know what to look for. So now you're wondering, how can I tell if my 2011 D penny is the one? Here's how: pick up a magnifying glass, or better yet, a jeweler's loupe. Look under the date. If there's a D, you're in the right place. Now, study Lincoln's eye, his chin, the words "In God We Trust." Look for doubling. Look for sharper than usual edges. Flip it over and examine the spacing in United States of America, especially between the letters A and M. If anything looks off, if anything feels unusually crisp or different, stop. Don't clean it. Don't try to polish it. Don't throw it back in the jar. Store it in a protective holder. Take a clear photo. And then, reach out to a reputable grading service. PCGS or NGC are the gold standards. For a small fee, you could unlock a life-changing payday. Check online marketplaces. Look at sold listings, not just what people are asking, but what's actually selling. Some of these coins are going for $1,000, $10,000, and yes, in that one extraordinary case, $864,000. But here's the truth: most people watching this will do nothing. They'll finish the video, nod their heads, and walk away, and just like that, their chance slips through their fingers. But you are not most people. You've made it this far. You know the story. You know the signs. You know the steps. Now it's time to act, because the 2011 D penny may not look special, but neither does opportunity, until it's gone. So check your drawers. Your jars. Your childhood coin collection. That old piggy bank, because your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Don't miss it. One of the most common coins in America, something you've tossed into a jar or dropped on the floor without a second thought, was actually a hidden treasure worth more than your car, your house, even your retirement savings. There's a 2019 Lincoln penny out there, with no mint mark, that's quietly been turning heads in the rare coin world. And the reason why? It's not what you'd expect. Could this one penny, minted just a few years ago, actually be worth over $853,000? And could you have one of these ultra-rare pieces without even realizing it? Before you say, "That's impossible," listen closely. Because once you know what to look for, once you hear this story, you may never look at pocket change the same way again. Stay with me, because in just a moment, I'll show you exactly how to spot this elusive coin, and why collectors are scrambling to get their hands on it before the rest of the world catches on. But first, we need to go back, not far, but far enough to uncover what makes the 2019 Lincoln penny with no mint mark so shockingly valuable. 2019 wasn't that long ago. Smartphones were everywhere, electric cars were booming, and the US Mint was producing billions of coins. But buried inside that avalanche of everyday currency, was a secret. Most people think newer pennies can't be rare. They assume if it's recent, it's worthless. But that's exactly what makes this story so fascinating. The 2019 Lincoln penny, like many before it, was minted in Philadelphia, which is why it has no mint mark. Now here's where it gets interesting. That missing mint mark isn't an error, it's normal for Philadelphia coins, but among the billions minted that year, a microscopic number contains something different. A detail so subtle, so easily overlooked, that most people tossed it back into circulation without a second glance. Some had doubled dies, where parts of the coin design appear stamped twice, especially in the words Liberty or In God We Trust. Others had severe die breaks or misalignments, flaws that only happen in the high-speed chaos of the minting process. And then there are the legends, collectors who whisper about a 2019 penny with a unique strike anomaly so rare, only a few are believed to exist. One such coin, yes, a 2019 no mint mark penny, was evaluated, authenticated, and sold for an unbelievable $853,000 at a private sale. Why? Because rarity and condition collided in the perfect storm. It wasn't just the year. It wasn't just the error. It was the fact that this coin was hiding in plain sight, and virtually no one noticed. Now imagine this: someone walked into a coin shop with a handful of change. And buried in it was the coin of a lifetime. The shop owner froze. He looked closer. He called in an expert. That single moment changed the seller's life forever. Can you imagine missing that opportunity? Can you imagine having the chance to retire early, pay off your home, or finally take care of your family, all from a coin sitting in your pocket? You're probably asking, how do I find one? What makes my 2019 penny special? We're almost there. But let me ask you this: have you ever thrown away a penny without even looking at it? Right now, you could be holding one of the rarest modern pennies ever minted. Here's how you check. First, find your 2019 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. That means it was minted in Philadelphia. Now look closely, and I mean very closely. Use a magnifying glass if you must. Examine the date, the lettering, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. Any doubling? Any unusual spacing? Does the coin look slightly off-center or show signs of raised cracks or odd indentations? If so, don't spend it. Preserve it immediately. Use gloves. Place it in a protective coin holder. The value of these coins depends heavily on their condition. Even a small scratch could cost you thousands. Now here's your next step. Contact a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm if your coin is authentic and give it a formal grade, which can skyrocket its value. Don't rely on guesswork. This is your shot at something big. Then, compare recent auction listings. Check heritage auctions, eBay, great collections. If your coin matches or is even close to these rare types, you could be in for the surprise of your life. This isn't just about making money. It's about what money can do, the freedom it can bring, the legacy you can leave, the doors it opens. Imagine giving your grandchildren a better future. Imagine retiring early, traveling the world, or simply never worrying about another bill, all because you took 10 seconds to look at a penny. Don't be the one who looks back years from now with regret, wishing they had checked, wishing they had known. Be the one who says, I saw it coming. I paid attention. And it changed my life. So go. Check your change. Search your drawers. Look through that old coffee can in the garage, because your next big discovery, it could be sitting in your pocket, right now.